Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. One man who was the one bearing the brunt of Nnamdi Kanu's case from the beginning for a decade, and you wouldn't be wrong, has finally broken his silence with what I will call a devastating, no hold back autopsy of how the most important trial in modern Igbo history was deliberately hijacked, sabotaged, and turned into a deadly circus by a cast of camera-chasing, competent, alleged social media lawyers. This is not coming from me. You're going to hear exactly what he has to give as his. He started it up by saying Nnamdi Kanu's avoidable ordeal, how amateur legal showmen led a high-profile case into a judicial ambush. When justice became a performance, the tragic consequence of turning Nnamdi Kanu's trial into content. According to him, he said,
I had genuinely intended for sheer case of exhaustion, out of sheer exhaustion and out of respect for the sensitivity of this moment, to refrain from revisiting this saga. But the avalanche of calls, messages, and trembling voices from our people has made silence no longer an option. I am therefore compelled to offer sober introspection, especially as someone who successfully steered this very case for nearly a decade, securing landmark victories, unassailable legal milestones, and enduring a long trial of threats, assassination attempts, and brushes with death. Through all of this, grace remained my only constant protection. However, after Thursday's spectacle correcting the wild conjectures, poorly manufactured narratives, and brazen misinformation now circulating like a digital epidemic has become absolutely necessary. The first revelation they won't tell you. Now, during the period our team handled this matter from 2015 to December 2023, up until Professor Mike Zehume, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, assumed leadership of the legal team in 2022, we were on the threshold of securing yet another major relief for Nnamdi Kanu, particularly after Court of Appeal discharged and acquitted him in 2022. Sustained pressure, strategic diplomacy, and airtight legal maneuvering had placed us on the verge of another monumental breakthrough. Regrettably, certain sensitive details of this progress were perhaps innocently disclosed by Nnamdi Kanu to some of these clueless clowns. Rather than support the strategy they barely understood, they seized the information as an opportunity to derail the entire process and treacherously orchestrated a change in the status quo. Consequently, we exited the team gloriously and with our integrity intact. Let us speak plainly. A high-profile, internationally sensitive criminal trial is not a circus ring. It's not a circus ring. But once these bloated, delusional entertainers in wigs inserted themselves into the process, everything degenerated into grotesque parody of legal representation. Instead of crafting legal strategy, they crafted Instagram stories. Instead of mastering case law, they mastered camera angles. At every court session, their priority wasn't research or preparation. It was posing, filming, updating, grandstanding, and going viral. Meanwhile, the accused man's fate hung by a thread. The most tragic part of it all, even after the court explicitly warned that the self-representation is a complex constitutional and criminal matter, was dangerous, these consultants encouraged it, clapping like paid spectators in a village arena. And so the unthinkable happened. 1. A trial that could have been paused or avoidable ab initio had the proper methodology and engagement been applied. 2, a conviction that could have been prevented. 3, an outcome that was entirely avoidable, yet allowed to proceed under the guidance of legal lightweights intoxicated by social media relevance. They railroaded him, knowingly or unknowingly, into a savage pit of a full criminal trial, fully aware that our lawful avenues existed. Even while the trial was ongoing, they busied themselves with dishing out falsehoods, half-truths, and misleading updates to an unsuspecting public. Every lie told outside the courtroom became a landmine inside the courtroom. Every exaggerated update became a contradiction the prosecution guiltfully documented. Every camera stunt became a professional embarrassment. And now, instead of remorse, they have resumed their post-trial routine. Fresh videos, fresh lies, fresh falsehoods, desperate for clicks. The tragedy continues because the vulnerable still believes them. And the greatest puzzle of all is how the foremost legal minds, globally respected senior advocates of Nigeria such as Chief Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria San, Chief Onyechi Ikpeazu, senior advocate of Nigeria San, and other erudite members of the inner bar, men fully versed in the anatomy of high-wire criminal litigation, became disengaged at the most critical moment of the trial, only for mediocres, adventurers to hijack a matter of international significance and reduce it to a TikTok legal carnival. Who replaced world-class physicians with herbal storytellers during brain surgery? He asked. Who replaces strategic diplomacy with reckless grandstanding? Who replaces law with theaters? Only a system already prepared for disaster. Where we go from here? For any meaningful rescue effort by globally respected legal experts, the first task must be to clean up the monumental damage inflicted by these self-advertising jesters. A comprehensive review of methodology, effective engagement, and drastically reduced publicity must precede any intervention. Only then can a coherent, sophisticated legal and political strategy be fashioned. This is not the time for comedy, not the time for inflated egos, and certainly not the time for social media rhetoric. It is time for soberness. It's time for competence. It's time for real advocacy. Enough is enough. This is signed, of course, by Sir Ifeanyi Ejiofor Esquire. Ejiofor himself was actually one of the legal persons involved. I don't know what's your take on all of this.
Well, I think he was able to capture the reality of the whole thing, because I feel that no matter who your client is, at a point you should be able, especially those who are very close to him and who have been following this case, they have the duty of telling him the truth to his face, no matter how hostile he is. Because right now, to remedy this case via appeal is going to be very difficult. I don't know where they're going to go from here. When they made the case live, I watched it, and I hear the positions. Even some of the questions that Nnamdi was requesting for answer. Upon what law are you trying me? Because the 2018 or 2011 law, Terrorism and Prevention Act 2013 has been repealed. It's there in the new law. But unfortunately, the legal expert did not even see it to show it to him. The judge cannot tell you. That's why you need legal representation. And he captured it in section 98, subsection 1 and 2. When I went and browsed it, I thought the man was just saying his own. I went and I saw it. That in the event of any case that is ongoing and all of that from the previous one, that it should be continued with this one. I mean, that's the only thing you would have told him, and possibly he would have calmed down and allowed the other guys to lead him. And, unfortunately, sometimes some of these big boys who are professionals, when you ask them certain questions, it's not your jurisdiction. They'll tell you, am I not here as your legal representative? Can you rest? The ones that I need you to know, I will tell you. The ones that are meant to be handled. But sometimes when you try to be overly inquisitive, asking them questions that, you're not going to be a lecturer in law anytime soon. So why do I have to respond? Allow me in the court. I know what to. So all of that put together made the whole thing this way. But let's just be hopeful And just like he rightly pointed out, if the Ndibos want to help Nnamdi Kanu, I think they should recruit, go back to the likes of Mike Ezehome, go back to the likes of Agabi, and plead with him. Please, he should come again and kickstart the appeal. Possibly, if any hope can spring from there, at least let's be sure that his time in the prison would be short-lived.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. Let's meet in that conversation also take.